Evan Israel. I'm back. I'm back and better than ever. All praises to the Most High. Today, I'm just gonna step back a little bit from what I normally do, and it's gonna be around the same thing, but I want to bring out some additional information. Hopefully, it's gonna be beneficial. I hope so. So, with this information, today I want to touch on some non-canonical books, what people call non-canonical from their perspective. I don't know. I wasn't around 2,000 years ago. I really don't have that much faith in the Council of Nicaea for them to determine what is or what is not spiritually or a Holy Spirit inspired. Neither do I have that trust into people today to tell me what is and what is not inspired on a level to learn from. So, what I'm gonna go through today is I want to clear up some confusion in the Bible because um, the ancient Hebrews they had their own literature. So the literature that they had, that's where they pulled a lot of their information from. That's where they pulled a lot of their language from. The same thing that we have today. We read our books, and once you read books so often, then you be able to pull uh, information from that book or how you speak, specific words, specific things. You'll be able to pull from that literature that you read. They did the same thing back then. So they had their own literature and scrolls back then. So I want to go through um, one of, well, actually, it's like three of it. We got the book of Enoch, Jubilees, and Jasher all in one. And I know a lot of people don't like none of these, but it's a proven fact that Marcus or Mark took the book of Enoch to Ethiopia with him when he went out there to minister. That's a proven fact. So, first, I want to go through the Bible, and I'm just going to pull one quote from uh, Joshua 10 and 13, just to show y'all why we're going here. Joshua 10 and 13 says, and the sun stood still, and the moon stayed up until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. So Joshua knew about the book of Jasher. So I want to dive into the book of Jasher today and actually just answer some of the things going on in the Bible that a lot of people don't know what's going on. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm not gonna hit nothing too deep today, y'all. I just want to go through and let's get some of this stuff answered that how that's always perplexed people. The first thing, let's go to Cain and Abel. I'd rather hit that first. Let's go to Cain and Abel. We have verse 4. Grace and peace, Brother Lee. Grace and peace indeed, my brother. Hope to see you at the lesson tonight. Hope to see everybody at the lesson tonight. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the app Zoom. But we got Genesis 4 and 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So then all of a sudden you go up to verse 16 to 17, well, even 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord shall set a mark upon Cain, lest any find him should kill him. And Cain went out of the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. So, whoa, what just happened here? We got Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Now all of a sudden we got the land of Nod, and Cain got a wife. So where did she come from? Who is this mysterious woman? So now people go, oh, well, obviously there was more people in the garden than just Adam and Eve. So the Bible don't talk about those people. They just concentrated on Adam and Eve, but it was more people in the garden. So now I want to answer some of those questions today, going through some old Hebrewic literature that the disciples, as well as the prophets, they all would have known this historical information, literature. So, the book of Jasher, and I want to start at chapter 1, verse 12. Once again, I'm just clearing up some of that confusing things going on in the Bible that really don't make too much sense. So I'm trying to clear it up, some of it anyway. And the Lord God drove them that day from the garden of, hold on, let me get here. And the Lord God drove them that day from the garden. How you doing, Carlos? How you doing? Just going through a little lesson right now. Through the garden of Eden to till the ground from which they were taken. And they went and dwelt in the east of the garden of Eden. And Adam knew his wife Eve, and she bore 2 sons and 3 daughters. That's the difference right there. 2 sons and 3 daughters. While the Bible was concentrating on the male seed, or just the men, we see in other Hebrew literature, they actually got the whole account. So he has 2 sons and 3 daughters. And she came and she called the name of the firstborn Cain, saying, I have obtained a man from the Lord. And the name of the other she called Abel. For she said, in vanity we came into the earth, and in vanity we should be taken from it. So hopefully that pretty much helps with how Cain got a wife. Yes, he had to marry his sister. Believe it or not, he had to marry his sister back then. Believe it or not, they did that until it was enough people in different nations on the earth where they didn't have to go through that incest no more. But in the beginning, they had to. Deal with it, folks. Deal with it. Yeah, let's see. And just to show y'all, it's about the same thing. It says right here, chapter 1:33. And at that time, Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, from the place where he was, and he went moving and wandering in the land toward the east of Eden, he and all belonging to him. And Cain knew his wife in those days, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called him Enoch, saying, in that time the Lord began to give him rest and quiet in the earth. So it's saying the same thing, and then he built a city called Enoch. All right, so now that's the first thing. What's the second thing? When people say, well, when we tell people, let me come back to it. Here's the second thing. Once we break down the scriptures and we tell people, well, the law is done away with, or the law of Moses done away with, we're in a new covenant, and all of that good things and all that good stuff. The first thing they say, well, since the law is done away with, I guess I can sleep with your wife. I guess I can kill somebody. I guess I can steal. I guess I can do this, and that, just because the law of Moses is done away with. So this was always my response, and this is my response now. Every covenant has specific laws, statutes, and commandments. Every covenant. The Mosaic covenant was not the first covenant that had laws, statutes, or commandments. Every covenant had laws, statutes, and commandments. So that covenant at that time with Moses, law, statutes, and commandments, those are done away with. In the new covenant, it has its own commandments and things. Now, some of the commandments are similar because they build off of each other, but they're not going to be 100% exact the whole thing all the way through. It's never going to happen. But now, I want to walk us through the law, statutes, and commandments of the doing Adam's covenant. So now let's go through this. The book of Jasher, chapter 2, verse 19. For in those days the Son of Man began to trespass against God and to transgress the commandments which he had commanded to Adam. Be fruitful and multiply in the earth. So now, in Adam's covenant, during Adam's days, Adam had commandments. Now, what was his commandment? Was his commandments the Ten Commandments? Was his commandments the Ten Commandments? No, he had a commandment to be fruitful and multiply. Notice that's not a part of the Ten Commandments of Moses. That's not in the commandments of Moses. This is Adam's commandments. This is the commandments under Adam's covenant, and they went against that. And the reason why they did that, how did they go against that? Let's see what they did. Um, Verse 20. And some of the sons of men caused their wives to drink a draught that would render them barren, in order that they may retain their figures, and whereby their beautiful appearance may not fade. So in other words, they was drinking things to make sure that they didn't get pregnant. That's how smart our people were back then. During during Adam's day, the days that of the old, they was able to take the plants back then and create things in order for them not to be pregnant. They knew how to do that back then. So what you're seeing now is just a rendering of what they was doing back then. But they was transgressing that covenant in order for the women to remain in that beautiful, that nice, tight, young state body that they can actually get back after children, but y'all get the gist of it. They was more worried about the flesh than the commandments, in other words. Grace, my brother. Grace indeed, brother Elton. So now, let me see. Where else I can show you? This is during Enoch time. And Enoch taught them wisdom, knowledge, and the ways of the Lord. And he made peace amongst them. And peace was throughout the earth during the life of Enoch. So Enoch taught wisdom, knowledge, and the ways of the Lord. So Enoch back then, the seventh from Adam, there was ways, wisdom, and knowledge of the Lord all the way back then. This is way before there was a Mosaic covenant. So, when you go down to 25, and now therefore I will teach you wisdom and knowledge, and will give you instruction before I leave how to act upon the earth, whereby you may live. And he did so. So those instructions from the Most High, even back then, if they followed them correctly, they would have had nothing but peace on earth. Once you don't follow them, the peace leaves. That's what happened. But look what he said. And he taught them wisdom and knowledge, and gave them instruction, and he reproved them, and he placed before them statutes and judgments to do upon earth. So now we got the statutes, we got the judgment, we got the commandments, we got it all during Adam's covenant. And he gave peace amongst them, and he taught them everlasting life, and dwelt with them sometime teaching them all these things. So back then, they was learning how to get everlasting life. There was no Mosaic covenant back then. They was learning what they could do in their covenant, in the covenant of Adam. What could they do in Adam's covenant in order to obtain everlasting life? You can't do the same thing in the Mosaic covenant to get everlasting life, what you did in Adam's covenant, but because it's two totally different covenants with two totally different rules. The things that you transgress in Adam's covenant is different from what you transgress in Moses' covenant. So we got to learn covenants. That's one thing. We got to learn covenants. I will. He said, if the Mosaic laws wasn't fulfilled, why did Yahushua amend them in Matthew 5:38? Well, I'm saying that the Mosaic law was fulfilled, and so if we're on the same page, he would have never brought it up unless he was showing them that it was going to be fulfilled. But I want everybody to see also. But look, verse 4. But in the latter days of Methuselah, the sons of men turned from the Lord, and they corrupted the earth. They robbed and they plundered each other, and they rebelled against God, and they transgressed and corrupted the ways, See, this is all the way back in Adam's days. This is before the flood. This is what was going on. See, this is that literature that we're missing in order to know what exactly was going on. But I want everybody to understand that the latter days means end. The latter days of Methuselah was dealing with the end of his life. So in the King James Version Bible, when you see a prophecy about the latter days, no, it's talking about the end times. It's not talking about 2,000, 3,000 years in the future unless it's a prophecy about the latter days. Now, when it says these last days or these latter days, it's saying that those are exactly the latter days that they was talking about. And when they say these latter days, they're not telling you to go 5,000 years in the future. Okay, it's all good, brother Andre. But now, let me see here. And Noah was a just man, he was perfect in his generation, and the Lord chose him to raise up seed from upon him to the face of the earth. Take thee wife, I have seen her. Oh yeah. This is how Noah made the cut. Noah was righteous before the generation. All of his generation, he was righteous. And how was he righteous? Because he was following the instructions of Enoch, the statutes and the judgment that Enoch left during Adam's covenant. Noah was following them, and that made Noah be righteous. Noah didn't have to go do the Mosaic covenant. He didn't have to do those 613 laws, statutes, and commandments in the Mosaic covenant in order to be righteous in front of the Most High. He was righteous for doing the things presented to him in Adam's covenant, which was way easier than the Mosaic covenant. But I also want to show y'all something, because we got to deal with this angels sleeping with people. We got to deal with that. Let me see if I can find that. I know it's around here somewhere. Let's see here. Oh. Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on, give me 1 second. I didn't highlight it. Let me highlight it real fast. And I wanna touch that. I want to touch this real fast about angels sleeping with mankind, because this right here, first of all, it's kind of ridiculous. But the reason why people draw that conclusion is because lack of reading the whole thing. So I actually want to address that. That's in Genesis, right? When the daughters of man begin to multiply, then they pull it from Enoch. So I'm gonna go through right through everything that they go through. So that is what Genesis. Let's see. 5, 6. We finna go through this angel sleeping with people thing. Genesis 6:1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, men which were of old, men of renown. So now, we got sons of God sleeping with women. So now let's find that problem here. Let's find the problem in Enoch. Because we have the same thing going on in Enoch. So let's see what Enoch says. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't want to read Enoch, for this right here. So let's go through it. Enoch 6. Enoch 6. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied in those days, were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Simjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear not, I fear ye will not indeed agree to this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. They swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared, and on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. So now we got the angels coming down, sleeping with mankind, with the daughters of man. And then we also got them teaching things. We got them, look, they could no longer sustain. The giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, to devour one another flesh and drink the blood. And the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. So now, people say, okay, well, you got it in the Bible right there that the sons of men, and we don't know we don't know who these sons of heaven is. But Enoch say they angels. And then people say, well, angels don't have appendages, and how can angels have sex with women and all of that other stuff? I don't like Enoch, because Enoch is talking about women having sex with angels and all that stuff, and that just sounds like sci-fi channel fairy tale. I'm not going to listen to it. But this is where they go wrong. Enoch, chapter 1, verse 4. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. Enoch is a book of parables. These are parables, everybody. These are all parables. It's all a book of parables. And let me see if I can show you another example while I'm there. Let me show you if I can show you another example while I'm there. Look, section 2, the parables, the second vision which he saw. He's seeing visions. He's having parables. Let's see if I can find another one. Oh, that's a pretty long parable. Dream vision. I had to read all the way through it. But I think it was like 3 or 4 parables. And they're all dealing with the things that Enoch was seeing in symbolic form on what was going on in earth. So now, Enoch said it was angels sleeping with women, but it was a parable. So now, let's find out what actually Enoch was seeing. Once we go to the book of Jasher. Once we go to the book of Jasher, we got it right here. And the children grew up and was weaned. Hold on, let me make sure that's it. Yep, that's it right here. Book of Jasher, chapter 4. I'm gonna start at verse 15. And the child grew up and was weaned, and he went in the ways of his father Methuselah, perfect and upright with God. That was talking about Noah. So now, and all the sons of men departed from the ways of the Lord in those days, as they multiplied upon the face of the earth with sons and daughters. And they taught one another their evil practices, and they continued sinning against the Lord. Who are these? These are men and women that's sinning against the Most High. Look, and every man made unto himself a god, and they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor as well as his relative, and they corrupted the earth. and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the fields, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with another, in order therefore to provoke the Lord. And God saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth, all men and animals. So Enoch said it was angels. Jasher lets you know that he was actually seeing the judges and rulers, people that were on a high estate, the people that were over the nation. Those angels represented the messengers, or the people that were in higher estate compared to the regular women and the regular men on earth. They were going in there and they was taking the daughters of men, and they was taking them by choice, by force. So the giants that they were having was the offspring of these evil people, and they was creating more and more evil people throughout the generations. And in fact, they start experimenting between one. This is what we call what cross breeding species and all that stuff. Um, Having two compatible animals that can have sex together and produce something else. But pretty much they were just doing cross species and all this stuff, splicing animals. But the point is, it's not literal angels, guys. That was just a parable. This is actually about people that was on earth. So instead of calling them people, and instead of calling them rulers and judges, he called them angels and he called them giants, because he's speaking in parabolic form, which means he's conveying a story. He's not telling you exactly what's going on. The actions are all correct. It's just throughout the whole Bible, everybody speaks in symbolism. You got to understand this when you're reading these old literature books. You got to understand that when you're reading the Bible. You got to understand it when you're reading Enoch. You got to understand it when you're reading Jubilees. If you read Jasher, all of this goes together, but you got to understand the Hebrewic mind frame. That's the point. People in the Western world want everything to be westernized. They want everything to be so literal that they miss the whole point of what's being said. And I will go on because I got other things to show. But now, this is what Enoch was talking about. Those angels. This is what the Bible was talking about. The sons of men, the sons of heaven and the daughters of men. This is exactly what it was talking about. So hopefully that takes all the sci-fi channel out of the Bible. Once again, y'all, we got to remember, these are actually um, um, symbolism, symbolic. So now I got another one for you. Jasher 4, we're still in 4, and I want to start at 9. 2 and 2 came to Noah into the ark, but from the clean animals and clean fowls he brought 7 couples as God had commanded him. And all the animals and beasts and fowls were still there, and they surrounded the ark at every place, and the rain had not descended till 7 days after. And on that day the Lord caused the whole earth to shake, and the sun darkened, and the foundations of the world raged, and the whole earth was moved violently. And yes, sir, indeed. And the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and all the fountains of the earth were broken up, such as not was known to the inhabitants before. And God did this mighty act in order to terrify the sons of men, that they might be no more evil upon the earth. So now we see where the Most High had actually done something spectacular for people to be scared. To be scared. This is an act of judgment. All of these things deal with the water coming, the flood coming. This is all dealing with judgment. Once again, we got to remember these things that occurred deals with judgment. So, if it occurs one time and you have all these words and you know that it means judgment, does it have to occur again? Or can they just write these words out and you understand that this is just a judgment thing because before this has happened before, and the last time it happened, it was judgment. So therefore, every time I read this in the Bible, it deals with judgment. Every time the Bible is not saying this is literally happening. See, the prophets pulled from these old ancient texts. They pull from this literature. It happened one time. The Most High don't need it to happen every time. This is just how the prophets explain judgment is occurring. It happened one time. This is how the prophets pull from it and explain that this is about judgment. Let me give you an example. So now let's go into the Bible. Let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give off her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. Once again, we're reading the same exact thing right here. They pull from this information to let you know judgment is happening. So when you're reading it, you're not supposed to be thinking literal. You're supposed to be thinking, where did they pull that from? Oh, when that happened the first time, that's when the whole earth was destroyed in Noah's day. So that was the judgment upon that world back then. So now when I read it in Matthew, I gotta understand that that's that judgment upon. And once you go to Matthew 24 and 3, it's talking about the destruction of the temple. Oh, that's that judgment on Israel. I can keep going. Let's go to Joel. Let's go to Joel. Let's go to Joel. One second to get there. See, these prophets, man, they always pulled from each other. They knew these words, they knew this literature. So they was able to pull from each other the whole entire time. That's why the audience in the Eastern world would have understood it. They would have got it. Us in the Western world, like I say, we too literal. We don't get it because we haven't cracked open these this old literature and found out where they was pulling this stuff from. So now let's look at Joel. All right, we got Joel 2. I know it's somewhere around here. Joel 2 and right here, 2 and 31. I start at 30. And I will show wonders in the heavens. They rocking my truck. And I will show wonders in the heaven and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Once again, this is Hebrewic literature for judgment. This is just meaning judgment. Let's go to Revelations 6. We can keep going to show everybody that this is not literally happening. This is just a theme of judgment. It happened one time. It don't have to happen over every single time again and again and again in order to get the point across. So now, Revelation 6 and where is it? 11, 12, and the moon. Where's it at? I know it's in 6. Right here, 6 and 12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig casteth her untimely figs, or a fig tree casteth her untimely figs. So, all of this is what they call apocalypse language. This is all about language dealing with judgment. It happens one time. When it happened at one time, that means the prophets can always pull from that one experience until the time of the end, because everybody knows what happened during that one experience. So now, let's see if we can keep going on to another. Oh yeah, I want to show everybody that Nimrod actually started the worshiping gods of wood and stone. And Nimrod was the whole world leader back then. So when the 70 angels came down and dispersed them, changed their languages, and they all went to different parts of the world, they took that that paganism with them. That's why you have the same type of gods in in every culture, just under different names, because everybody learned from one central place. They just took it with them and they changed things up here and there, and they gave them different names because of the different places they went to or the different cultures, but they are the same exact name from the same. I'm sorry, it's the same exact God. They just change up the stories a lot, if that makes sense. This is how paganism started, through Nimrod. All right, so now where else I want to break down. Um, I'm gonna break down that this whole Esau is the white man thing. I gotta break that down. I gotta break the whole Esau is the white man. I gotta break that down because, in fact, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm not just gonna say it. Let me show you. That's why we gotta know this good old Hebrew literature. Now, and I think it's in Enoch 80. I want to show y'all something right here. I think this is it right here. Mouse kind of resembling. Give me 1 second to find it, y'all, because I wasn't even thinking about going here, but I'm gonna go here. All right, we got Enoch has something called an animal apocalypse, where he goes through the end of the world or the time of the end, but he uses animals to do it. The animals that existed during his days. So I want to go through and show you. I took that now, so I the whole bull and the bull and the black going on earth. I want to show you what happened during the flood. I gotta find it real fast. It's 12 sheets, a white bull. They got on a boat. I know it's somewhere around here. Let me find it real fast. Oh well, this is actually some look. Enoch 86 right here. Look. And again I saw with my eyes as I slept, and I saw from heaven above, and behold, a star fall from heaven, and it arose and ate the pasture amongst those oxen. And after I saw that large and black oxen, and behold, they all changed their stalls and pastures and their cattle, and began to live with each other. This is when the judges and those rulers start messing or start sleeping with their women. This is what Enoch actually is talking about, the angels sleeping with the men, but we know this is actually the judges and the rulers sleeping with the women. But this is what Enoch is seeing in the vision. And again, I saw in the vision and looked towards the heaven, and I saw many stars descend and cast themselves from heaven to the first star, and became bulls amongst those cattle, and pastured with them among them. And I looked at them and saw, and behold, they all let out their privy members like horses and began to cover the cows of the oxen, and they all became pregnant and bare elephants, camels, and asses. So remember they said they bore giants of those days? This is what they're bearing, elephants. But anyway, it's an animal apocalypse about what's going on. I'm going to go to the flood. These were an earthquake because of the full, and those went up from secret, man. Here you go right here. Enoch 89. And one of those four went to that white bull and instructed him a secret. Without his being terrified, he was born a bull and a man, and built for himself a great vessel. This is Noah's ark, and dwelt thereon, and 3 bulls dwelt with him. This is his 3 sons in that vessel, and they were covered in thee. Now I want y'all to see how these bulls, or how his sons, came out looking. And again I raised my eyes toward heavens and saw a lofty roof and 7 waters stirring. Blah 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 blah. I want to get back to the. This is just the floods coming in and covering the earth. And all the cattle of the enclosure were gathered together. And I saw how they sank and were swallowed up and perished in that water. This is everybody dying to the flood. But the vessel floated on the water while all the oxen and elephants and camels and asses sank. This is everybody being killed. Here we go right here. Verse 9. But that white bull, that's Noah. If you go through the Dead Sea Scrolls, you see that Noah came out albino. He scared Methuselah so much that Methuselah had to run and talk to Enoch, because he said that he think that actually the heavenly angels actually came down and had slept with his wife, because Enoch came out looking different from. Noah came out looking different from everybody. They said that his complexion was that of shiny. In other words, around a whole bunch of black people, when you see the very first albino, it's gonna trip you out, especially when all of the angels in heaven has faces that shine, and then the very first albino child come out, and it seems like that his face is shining compared to your dark skin. You'll be freaked out too. But anyway, so Noah would be the first albino, but and I can show y'all that later on. But that white bull, which had become a man, came out the vessel, and the 3 bulls with him, and one of those 3 bulls was white like that bull. So one of the bulls, one of Noah's sons, was white like him. This will be your actual first white man, so-called white man. This will be your first so-called white man right here. That's why they didn't freak out when Japhet came out white, because his father was white. But we have 3 different brothers, because I want people to understand that these people are all related. The white man is related to the black man, and the black man is related to the Chinese man. Everybody is related. Everybody came from Noah. Everybody is born from 3 sons. So everybody has an uncle that look different. Everybody's uncle look kind of different. So that white man that you're talking about, that you hate so much, he's your family member. So anyway, one of them came out white like Noah. One of them came out white. That's why they didn't freak out, because Noah was the very first albino or white person. So this second one, him having a white son, would not be so scary, because they didn't already seen it happen one time. But anyway, first came out white like a bull. That's Japhet right there. Once again, that's Japhet. Ain't got nothing to do with Esau. This is Japhet. One of them was red. That will be Shem. Black people are not black. They know. We are different shades of brown. Once you look up at a red heifer, you see that it's like a honey color brown. So Shem came out different shades of brown, or he was a different shades of brown. This would be more like he was light skinned, or he was fair colored brown. And let's see how Ham came out. Hold on, so I just took my hand off right here. One came out white, that's Japhet. One came out red, that's Shem. And one black, that's Ham. This will be your deep, dark colored nations. And the Bible dictionary actually breaks it down to you. But this will be your deep, dark colored nations. So this will be Ham, the what they call Africans. This will be Shem, or what they call the Negroes. And this will be Japhet, who they call the white man. This is all of their descendants. So now, we have the white man before Esau. So you hating Esau has nothing to do with the white man. It has something to do with Esau. You can't hate somebody because you think that they're a color. Then you're just being prejudiced. Now, if you're going to hate a person because of their nationality, you got to hate Esau. But the white man predates Esau. But anyway, so let's keep going, because I got something else to show you. Showing you that the so-called white man is not Esau. I want to go through some of the descendants of Japhet. That's what I'm saying, y'all. We got to get this literature out. We got to get this literature. I want to go through some of the descendants of Japhet. Let me find them real fast. All right, here we go right here. Some of the descendants of Japhet. We got the book of Jasher. Oh, my bro. Man. Are you talking about Enoch? Are you talking about the Enoch that I pulled? I think it was 89. Yep, 89 and 1. I read Enoch 89, 1 through how far did I go down? I just say read the whole Enoch 89. Yeah, read the whole Enoch 80. Oh yeah, 1 through 9. I went all the way down to 9. Enoch 89, 1 through 9. So now I'm in the book of Jasher, chapter 10. And I want to start reading at 7. And these are the sons of Japheth, according to their families: Gomer, Magog, Medea, Javan, Tubal, Meshis, and Tyrus. These are the children of Japheth, according to their generation. And the children of Gomer, according to their cities, were in Fransum, who dwell in the land of Franza, by the river Franza, by the river Sanaa. We have France. We have the ancestors of the French right here. This is France. The ancestor of the French comes from Japhet. These are the so-called, what y'all want to label as white man. I would say the nationality of Japhet. But if we want to put a color just right now on it, this will be your white man. Let's keep going to some more, because it's got all of the children of the white man right here. And then we can go to, where else I want to go? Right here, verse 15. And the children of Elisha and of Almanin, they also went and built themselves cities. Those are the cities situated between the mountains of Job and Shabbatmo. Now, once you go into the old literature, it tells you that Job probably was indeed from the nationality of, sometimes they say Edom, sometimes they say Japhet. But we got Job, and of them mountains of Job and Shabbatmoth, and they conquered the land of Italia and remained there until this day. We have Italy, or the Italians. Italy, or the Italians, coming from Japhet. And the children of Chittim are the Roman. This is Rome. Rome is the children of Chittim. Or in the Bible it says Chittim, it says Kittim, and it says that's another one too. I had to find it though. But these are Romans. Chittim are Romans. This is before Esau even existed. Chittim are Romans. The Italians, all these people are from Japhet. So let's see if we got anything else. Oh yeah, then it starts right there. Then it starts going into the descendants of Ham. But I want to show y'all that the so-called people that y'all call white men, they actually come from Japhet. Actually come from Japhet. It ain't got nothing to do with Esau. Now, the question is, oh yeah, also, people like throwing up Esau is Seir or Sair. Let's see who Sair is. I think I found it. Let's see. I thought let me make sure if I didn't. Here we go right here. This is about the descendants of Ham. And Sair, the son of Hur, son of Hivi, son of Canaan. Oh, so now y'all trying to say, well, Sair was a caveman. And I'm sorry, I'm not being racist. I'm just breaking down what they try to say for us to have the complete and correct understanding. They try to say that Seir was a caveman. And since Esau went to Seir, it's proven that Esau is the caveman, or the caveman was a white man. Well, we see right here that Seir is the son of Canaan. Seir came from Ham. Seir will be a black man, actually. And found the valleys in the land of Seir until this day. So, and then we got Eber and all that stuff. So, we got Seir actually being from Ham. So now, the prophecy is Jacob is the beginning, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of the world that follows. Or Esau is the end of the age. Jacob is the beginning of the age to follow, which is the Messianic age. So now, if Jacob is the beginning of the age and Esau is the end of the age, and we know that Rome actually came in and destroyed everything, so Rome actually ended the age. Rome was the one in the four beasts. The last beast was Rome. So how can we get Esau with Rome? How do Esau become Rome? That's our problem. But guess where we find that at? In the book of Jasher. Once again, how Esau became Rome. This is how Esau became Rome. The book of Jasher, chapter 57. And first I want to start with 14. And the sons of Seir said unto the sons of Esau, you have seen, and therefore you know that this count was on your account, and not one mighty man or an adept in war remaineth. Now therefore go forth from our land, go forth from us to the land of Canaan, to the land of the dwellings of your father. See, we got it right there. Go to the dwelling of your fathers. Who was that? This is Shem's descendants. Wherefore shall your children inherit the effects of our children in latter days. That's the end time again. And the children of Esau would not listen to the children of Seir. And the children of Seir considered to make war with them. And the children of Esau sent secretly to Angias, king of Africa, and said to Dinhabas, saying, Send unto us of thy men, and let them come unto us, and we will fight together with the children of Seir, the Horite. Remember they try to say Horites. The Horites are cavemans. Well, these are the same people. And these were people from Ham. For they have resolved to fight with us to drive us away from the land. And the children of Sierra sent unto the children of the east and the children of Midian, saying, You have seen what the children of Esau have done unto us. Remember, it's two nations in your womb. Esau was their rough nation. Esau was rough and rugged. They was more, what we say today, they was more thugged out. Jacob was more laid back. Esau was rough and rugged. Everybody knew about Esau and the way that nationality or that nation of people handled things. The children of Esau had done to us, whose account we are almost all destroyed in their battle with their sons of Jacob. All right, so now this is them going back and forth when the children of Seir prevailed over the children of Esau, and eventually Esau overtakes the mountain. See right here. I found it right here. And in 10 days' time, the children of Esau again waged war with the children of Seir in the wilderness of Paran. And the battle was very severe upon the children of Seir. And the children of Esau prevailed at this time over the children of Seir. And the children of Seir was smitten before the children of Esau. And the children of Esau slew from them about 2,000 men. So, we got Esau being able to take over, or Edom being able to take over Mount Seir. So that's why we got Mount Seir right now. So now let's see how we get to Rome. I want to get Rome now. Let me get to Rome. I thought that was it. Give me one sec. It's got to be back there somewhere. Esau. And I actually got that this was about Genesis 36. Joshua 57 is about Genesis 36 chapter. All right, let me go through this slowly because I thought that I highlighted it. Oh, I did highlight it. It's in 90. So now, the book of Joshua, chapter 90. So now, let's find out how Esau converged over to the so-called white man. How did the black man converge over to the so-called white man? It's going to tell you right here. The book of Joshua 90. This is how Esau became the end of the world. This is how Esau became Rome, right here. At that time, in the 5th year, after the children of Israel had passed over Jordan, and after the children of Israel had rested from the war with the Canaanites, and at that time, great and severe battles arose between Edom and the children of Chittim. Remember, Chittim was Rome. Edom, Esau, brother of Jacob. So we got Edom and Rome fighting. Edom fought with everybody. But anyway, we got Edom and Rome fight. And the children of children fought against Edom. And Abanias, king of Chittim, went forth in that year, that is the 31st year of his reign, and a great force with him of the mighty men of the children of Chittim. And he went to Seir to fight against the children of Esau. Remember, the children of Esau now is in Mount Seir. So now Rome is going to Mount Seir for battle. And Hadad, the king of Edom, heard of this report, and he went forth to meet him with a heavy people and strong force, and engaged in battle with him in the field of Edom. And the hand of Chittim prevailed over the children of Esau. And the children of Chittim, this is Rome, slew the children of Esau, 22,000 men. And all of the children of Esau fled from before them. And the children of Chittim pursued them. And they reached Hadad, king of Edom, who was running before them. And they caught him alive, and brought him to Abanias, king of Chittim. And Abanias ordered him to be slain. And Hadad, king of Edom, died in the 48th year of his reign. And the children of Chittim continued their pursuit of Edom, and they smote them with a great slaughter. And Edom became subject to the children of Chittim, and the children of Chittim ruled over Edom. And Edom, this is Esau, became under the hand of the children of Chittim, and became one kingdom from that day. Esau became Rome during this time. Once again, Esau became Rome. They became one kingdom from that day all the way up to the destruction of the temple, all the way up, I could say, until now. Esau and Rome mingled together. Two different kingdoms in one kingdom under Rome's banner. That's how Esau can be the end of the age. And that is how Rome could be the end of the age. Because they are the same kingdom. Remember, the beast that Daniel saw, he saw kingdoms, not nationalities. He saw kingdoms. So the kingdom of Rome, which would include Esau, brought about the end of the age. After Jerusalem was destroyed, nothing but the kingdom age was left. Hopefully that makes sense. And from that time they could no more lift their head, and their kingdom became, it says it again, and their kingdom became one with the children of Chittim, and Edom became subject and tributary to Abanias, and Abanias turned back to his own land, Chittim, and when he returned, he renewed his government and built for himself a spacious and fortified palace for a royal residence, and reigned securely over the children of Chittim and over Edom. And in those days, after the children of Israel have driven away all the Canaanites and Amorites, Joshua was old and advanced in years. So, this is how we can have. Where we at? Let me. What my KJV at? Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me find my KJV. I'm in the truck, so it can't be too many places. I just put it down somewhere. I don't know where I put it down. It's right here. So that's how we can have this prophecy. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Lee. And like I said, today I really ain't hitting on. I want to just go through some of the things that confuses people, so we can when we talk about stuff, we can actually be on point, and everybody can be on the same page instead of having to worry about these different doctrines. Oh, Lord. I'm not going to do this Edom still ruling us now stuff. I don't see no Romans, so I don't know. But this is how we can have this prophecy in Numbers 24 and 24. And the ships shall come from the coast of Chittim. This will be Edom and Rome, under the kingdom of Rome. These are Romans with Edom's citizens. Edoms are the citizens of Rome. But guess who else is the citizens of Rome? Romans. True life Romans. The real Romans. Not the Edomite Romans, but the real Romans. They are in Chittim also. So, and the ship shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, which is a descendant of Shem, and shall afflict Eber, which is the Hebrews, and he also shall perish forever. So that's an end days prophecy right there. But once again, we have proved that Esau wasn't the white man at all. B, Japhet was actually the originality or the starting of the white man. C, how Edom actually became Rome. D, how Cain was able to have a wife. What else we prove? Oh yeah, E, that there was laws, statutes, and commandments in Abraham. I'm sorry, in Adam's covenant, but I didn't hit Abraham, did I? I want to hit that before I leave. I think I jumped too far ahead of myself. Let's see if I can find it real fast. See if I can find it real fast. Oh yeah, we can see. Look right here. We got Abram. We got when Abram was thrown into the fire with by Nimrod. Look, we got Abraham walking in the midst of the fire. Look how long he was in that hellfire. 3 days and 3 nights. Tell me that's not a shadow of what Christ did. But anyway, see, it's a lot of shadows being pulled from this literature. You just got to know it. You got to get in there and you got to read it. But we got the covenant of Abraham now. Your seed will be like the stars of the heaven and all that stuff. But I want to show y'all something before I leave. Let's see one more thing because I just gave me the light, but I want to pull it out. Oh no, two more things. Then I gotta pull it out. I got, and then I go. Yeah, we got two. Look, y'all, we got children right there still making war with people. This is Rome right here before Edom came with Rome. This is Rome making war with everybody, with Tubal, with Ham people and everything. So he making war with Ham people. He making war with his brothers. This is the covenant with Abraham right here, to be circumcised on the 8th day. But that's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to find. Oh, come on, let me find it. Oh, well, this is some of it right here. But Abraham had the instructions of the Lord. Oh yeah. That's one right there. I think it's in Genesis 49 and something though. Yep, here you go right here. Book of Jasher. It's in Genesis 49 too, but Book of Jasher chapter 12 and right here 42. And Abraham returned on that day and went to his father's house, and he and men that followed him, and sorry, he and the men that followed him, and Abraham. See, this is before he got his name changed to Abraham, so he was still Abram. And Abram, this is before the covenant, he changed his name. And Abram served the Lord his God all the days of his life, and he walked in his ways and followed his law. Wow. So you mean to tell me Abram followed the law too before the law of Moses? We got Enoch following the law before the law of Moses. We got Abraham following the law before the law of Moses. So I'm thinking that maybe Moses wasn't the only one that had to follow laws. I think that the Mosaic covenant was just a covenant with Moses and Israel for that time. And now, since every covenant seems to have laws that they have to follow, and they're all different, maybe just because the Mosaic covenant is done away with, that does not mean you can go out and kill people. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I want I want to hit this real fast because people say, okay, how can we be in the new covenant And we got to teach people to know the Lord. We got to teach people about the Lord. Let me show you how they was. Let me show you how they was getting to know the Lord back in the days. Book of Joshua, 13:21. And many of the people of Haran, about 72 men, followed Abraham, and Abraham taught them the instruction of the Lord and his ways. He taught them the laws, statutes, and commandments. And he taught them to know the Lord. How was they going to know the Lord? Through the instructions. What's the difference between this and the new covenant? That no one's going to have to teach you to know the Lord? Because they're not going to have to teach you instructions no more. There's not going to be nothing physically you can do in order to know the Lord. You go through Christ. You believe on Christ. It's what you do your thing spiritual. You believe Christ was died, buried, resurrected, and believe that he was the Christ. You get baptized, you're pretty much there. There's a lot of spiritual things in that new covenant. Unlike that old covenant where you had to do a billion sacrifices. Tell them I'm gonna be in there in just a second. You had to do a billion sacrifices, so it's totally different. But I want to hit one more point, then I really gotta go because I gotta go. Who is Melchizedek? Let's find out who Melchizedek is, and then I'm gonna call it quits because that's the last thing that seems to have my people confused. So let me see if I can find Melchizedek real fast. Uh, let's see if I can find him. Find him. Yep, got him. So let's find out who Melchizedek is real fast, and then I'll call it quits. Because people want to say, hey, it's Jesus. Jesus was Melchizedek. Obviously, Jesus came to earth, or Christ, or Yeshua, or Yahuwah, Yehuda, whatever you want to call him. That's your choice. I'm just going to say, I like saying Yeshua, to tell you the truth. But I'm just going to say Jesus also. It doesn't matter to me. The Savior. I like calling him Christ also. So I'm going to say Christ didn't keep coming to earth over and over again. Okay? I'm going to say that he came in flesh at one time. He resurrected in a new fleshly, same, it's almost the same, but it's new flesh body in order to prove a point. Then he went to reign. That's why I get from it. You don't got to agree with me. But what I want to get right here. Where's the destruction? Where's the fight at? Now, where's the fight at? Where's the fight? Where Lot was finna get destroyed. But Abraham saved him. Just before then. Is this it right here? 14? Yep, right there. Now my brother Melchizedek won't right. I'm Messiah Christ. But let's see who Melchizedek is. Genesis 14 and 18. Well, I'll start with 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him, and after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, what? Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him, and he said, Blessed be Abraham for the Most High God, possessor of the heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hands, and he gave him tithes of all. All right, man. So now, Melchizedek, he's Christ. Well, let's see who they thought he was in the ancient times. Let's just see who they said he was in the ancient times. And I want to go to right. Jasher 16 and 9. And when he returned from smiting the kings, he and his men passed the valley of Siddim. So we know we're in the same thing, talking about the same thing. Where the kings had made war together. And Bera, king of Sodom, I'm trying to do the Salam thing. And Bera, king of Sodom, and the rest of his men that were with him went out from the lime pits into which they had fallen to meet Abram and his men. And Adonizedek. We got Melchizedek in one of them, and this one we got Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, or king of Salem, same thing. The same was Shem. Shem is Melchizedek. Went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine, and they remained together in the valley of Malach. And Adonizedek blessed Abraham, and Abraham gave him a tenth from all that he had brought from the spoil of his enemies, for Adonizedek was a priest before God. Shalom, Brother Jonathan. So right there, that ends it for today. Hopefully, I was able to hit on some of those mysteries of the Bible that a lot of people had. A lot of people ain't gonna believe it still. I read it from the book of Jasher. It pretty much tells all the things that you need to know. All I can say is getting those the other Hebrewic literature and actually learn, so you can actually have a better foundation when you're reading this stuff. Because if it don't make sense, man, you start making up stuff in your head, and you don't want to be one of those people that make up a whole lot of stuff, because then you sound ignorant, and then when somebody correct you, it's kind of hard to bounce. It's kind of hard to bounce back from it. So. So man, you gotta. How you doing over there? Doing good. You have a good day. All right, bro. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh man, see, you like the police, ain't you? That's my brother right there. But yeah, you gotta get in that Hebrew literature, and you gotta study more and more and more and more. We got a lot of things in this age we live in. We got too much information in order for people to just be stuck on one thing. I mean, it's too much information out there for a mystery today to still be a mystery, especially a biblical mystery. Now, I know you ain't gonna be able to find out a lot of things like who was the high priest and all that stuff. He said, "What's the significance of Melchizedek being Shem?" Oh, so you know that Melchizedek is not Christ. Stops another false doctrine. But also, Melchizedek being Shem learned everything from Noah. So you got the purest form, because Noah was the only one righteous in his whole generation. So you got the purest form on how to be a priest coming from the head honcho. So Shem was the first. Well, he wasn't the first king and priest, but what he set forth was the order on which the Most High was pleased with. I mean, that's why the Most High pretty much let everything go through Shem's seed. So he's like the forefather and everything. But a lot of people want to push that Christ is Melchizedek. And when you push Christ is Melchizedek, then first of all, now you're stuck in false narratives, and you open yourself up for all kind of different doctrines and understandings and stuff. So now Christ been, once they get done, Christ has been on the earth 8 or 9 times. Melchizedek just keep happening and happening. So now Christ is a priest and a king after the order of his own self. I don't even know how that worked out. He came in the order of himself. But y'all, we out here, it's just mysteries that we gotta unravel in order to have a better understanding of the Bible. A lot of people don't care about the stuff like that. and it's fine. But me personally, I want to make sure I have all of the truth before I can draw my conclusion. Yep, yes, sir, indeed. Shem actually taught all of them. I mean, that's why they were so righteous. I mean, he was the righteous priest because uh, the Most High was pretty much worried about that priesthood of serving him. He had to worry about that perfect priesthood, and Shem was the perfect priest. Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, we got a lot to do. Tomorrow I'm gonna build a whole lot more. It just today, man, I want to hit up some of those mysteries because I hear a lot of people, man, like when you're talking to people, one of the things they say is, especially with the Mosaic covenant, because it's so important to know that we're not in the Mosaic covenant. So important because you're pretty much playing with your life. If you are in law, you be judged by law. If you're not in law, you don't be judged by law. So for these people to put their wager on something that never brought perfection, knowing that anybody can die at any minute, at any moment, and the Most High not let you come back, and you want to wager your soul on a notion that you might be right. But then when he says that no one can do the law perfect, people out here try to tell you that you can do the law perfect. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. You're right. I can do all things in that new covenant through Christ that strengthened me. Because that was the covenant made for me. I mean, is it a reason why? And I gotta say, the Most High, my Father, is so smart. The smartest being. I mean, look what he created. You know what I'm saying? This took some planning, but he's the smartest being on earth. I mean, we can't even think about how we can't even just imagine how smart he is. It's so ridiculous. But it's a reason why we was born in the place and in the time that we were born. I think that the Most High understood that our spirits we couldn't hold it up back in the days. He was being gracious just to let us live during the time that the new covenant was here. Yeah, he was letting us be gracious us being born during the new covenant. He could have let us be born during hold on. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. But he could have let us be born during the Mosaic covenant. But it's the reason why he did not do that. It's the reason why he said, no, I'm gonna let that spirit go during the new covenant. It's the reason why he didn't want us being born under bondage. If he wanted you to be in the Mosaic covenant, he would have sent you back 3,000 years ago. I mean, truthfully, if that's the covenant that he wanted you under, why wouldn't he not let you be born in the land during that covenant? It's like, I mean, think about it. The people under when Abraham covenant, which dealt more with the seed, which was Christ, but the people that dealt with Abraham and all that stuff, they had to be born at that point of time in order to do what they were supposed to do. The people of Noah's days. I mean, aren't y'all blessed that you weren't born during Noah's time? I mean, you out there with your wife and somebody just come take her from you? Ain't nothing you can do about it. It's a blessing that the Most High allowed us to be born during the new covenant. And then you got people out here trying to tell you, no, you ain't in the new covenant. You in Moses' covenant. Why the Most High did everything he can in everything he could do dealing with free will He done did for you in order to show you that you're not in the Mosaic covenant. And people want to say, I'm in it anyway. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, Mr. Lee, what you say, Mr. Lee? Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. But that, and that's all that's all biblical stuff. That's all biblical stuff. I mean, all Hebrewic literature, indeed. Well, we got to understand, Brother Jonathan, a lot of cultures had priests. Israelites wasn't the first one to have priests. And we got also, if I would have went through the book of Joshua with you and actually read some of it, everybody knew that the earth was going to get flooded. Everybody knew it before the flood actually happened. They just didn't believe it. Some people believed it, some people didn't. Some people died off before it happened, but everybody knew that a deluge was going to occur at one point in time during that first world before it got flooded out. Everybody knew it. It was a central theme. Everybody knew it. Nobody cared. So the Bible itself, everything was already spelled out for them. Not more for us today, but for them. So everything that we have in Israel, they already had. We gotta understand that everybody learned from Noah. Everybody learned from Noah, and the three sons took the information they learned and put their own spin on it. So that's why you got the laws of Ma'at, however you want to say it. You got the laws of Ma'at, right? That's why they could be so similar to the laws of Israel. Everybody learned under the same person. It's just everybody have different personalities. They put their own spin on things. So yeah, being priests, man, they can only fake it. They could only put a big front on because everybody knew that there was only one chosen seed that was going to be picked. But yes, sir, man, it's so much, man. It's so amazing how the Most High worked everything out. Indeed, how He worked everything out. So why did the scriptures mention in many books the Sabbath is perpetual throughout all generations? Okay, now for the Sabbath being a perpetual commandment or whatever, we got to understand that first of all, what is the Sabbath? It was just a rest. It was just a rest. So we understand that the Father had rest from His work, and we are a reflection of Him. So He was trying to give us a rest from our works. So we will always have a perpetual Sabbath, but the rest that we have from our works is Christ. So through Christ, you will always be in a perpetual Sabbath. But it won't be nothing carnal as you can't cook or clean, you can't sweep your floor. You see, that's how the Sabbath under the Mosaic covenant worked. And we know everything came under the Mosaic covenant as a shadow of Christ. So he literally established, when it said He established the end from the beginning, He literally established the end from the beginning. And I can let me give you some examples how He established the end from the beginning. Before Adam even got put in a covenant per se, what all Adam have to do? The only thing he had to do was follow the instructions of the Most High. Till the garden, name the animals, worship the Father. That's it. He sinned, then all of a sudden he had to still till the garden, still worship the Father, but now he had to do sacrifices also. He started picking up sacrifices. So what was the end from the beginning? The end was Adam was in the new covenant in the beginning. The end game was to get back to the new covenant, which Adam was in the beginning. So the Most High established that end from the beginning. What's another end that he established from the beginning? Resurrection. He shows through signs every day resurrection. As the sun is down, as the moon is up, the sun is down. Everything is chill. Everything is in a darkened state. And then what happened? The sun come up. That light, everything is brightened up. Everything is warm. You can feel that life coming to be. And you see it every day. You see darkness and light. Darkness and light. Every single day. That represents the resurrection right there. Dying and living every single day. Resurrection. Now what else do you got? You got the seasons. You got the seasons where things die. And you got the season where things come back to life. You have that continually every year. This is the regeneration, the rebirth. You see it every year. He established seasons in the beginning. He established the end, which was the regeneration through Christ from the beginning. The whole thing is mapped out. It's all mapped out. I can take you from the way a person is born. Everybody is born in darkness, no matter what nationality you are. Everybody is born in water, in darkness. What do? You bust out of that water into life. That's the baptism right there. He established the end from the beginning. Everything is like that. Is it real truth? Nah, yes, sir. All praise to the Most High. Man, everything. And that's another thing was the perpetual Sabbath. If you look up and actually go into the detail of that 8th day, which is that perpetual Sabbath, which we live in right now, we live in the everlasting Sabbath, which means our Sabbath will never end now. We are in the everlasting Sabbath. We are in the 8th day right now. We are in the 8th day right now. We are in the perpetual Sabbath. Through Christ, our Sabbath never ends. And what did he do while he was building the earth? When he was creating everything, on that 7th day, he took a rest to let us know that he worked that whole week. And we know that he's the Father. He don't gotta rest. But he was building it. He was setting this tone. He was setting that stage up. And for us today, everything back then was created for people who lived in the first covenant, in the first century, all the way up to today, all the way to our future. Everything was built like a map. It's like a puzzle piece. He was putting all the puzzles together. And just how he rested on that 7th day from all his works, he let it be known that eventually we were going to be able to rest from all our works. But what was the works? What was the works we rested from? Those works in order to try to get to know him. All of those works dealing with the laws and all that carnal things that we have to do daily in order to get to the Father, in order to get on his radar. The things that they had to do. We don't got to do it now. Well, he set the tone up and let them know that eventually y'all would get a rest, just like I had a rest. The end from the beginning. The whole world is based on the end from the beginning. The whole entire world. You can look at Christ's life, the life of Christ, and get the whole entire universe out of it. The whole thing. You get the temple, you get all of it out of one person. So man, yeah, the problem we have though is belief. We gotta. Yes, sir. Amen, Mr. Lee. And the only problem we have is belief. We got too many people in disbelief right now because people have been taught. They've been taught out of the kingdom of heaven. When you was a Christian, going to church on Sunday, through all the paganism, you still knew that you didn't have to adhere to that Mosaic stuff. But what do? We teach ourselves right back into the Mosaic covenant, take ourselves right back out of the kingdom. We do it ourselves. We can't blame nobody but ourselves. But I like how the Most High did this too. This is how good the Most High is. We have an 8th day, which is the perpetual rest day, the perpetual Sabbath, the last everlasting Sabbath, that 8th day, which is also that first day. That first day of the week is that 8th day of the week. The 8th day is when you can praise the Most High without having to do any works. You just can praise Him spiritually, verbally, which they call in the New Testament spiritual sacrifices. But look how the Most High did this. He had Constantine come in and change the worship from that 7th day to that 8th day. Once again, he had Constantine come in and change that 7th day of worship to that 8th day in order to show us where we was at. And we took that glory from the Most High and we turned it into hatred for Constantine. We said, look at this man trying to do away with times and laws, and Constantine, evil man, him in the Roman Catholic Church, and this and that, not understanding that this was ordained to happen from the beginning. That 8th day was always supposed to be that day of worship, that day of no more having to carnally work, where you can offer up those spiritual sacrifices, those spiritual sacrifices to be acceptable unto the Most High. That 8th day was always supposed to do that. And what do we do now? He made it for every church to worship on that 8th day as a symbolism. The Most High always worked with symbols. It was always something, an analogy. It was always a parable. It was always something there that people could learn and grasp from. He used that 8th day or that Sunday worship in order to get us and steer us on the right path. And this is how he did it. All you have to do is have the Hebrew understanding, and you understand why you're worshiping on the 8th day. The problem is, us in America have not studied to get that Hebrew understanding. We have that American understanding, and as long as we have that American understanding, we look at things from an American point of view. The Most High didn't come create an American world. He created a Hebrewic world. And we are to conform to that Hebrewic age, that Hebrewic mind. We are not to be in a Hellenized mind trying to worship a father that's not Hellenized. He did everything in a way that the Hebrews could understand. And when the Hebrews understood it, they were supposed to be that light to the Gentiles and explain to the Gentiles exactly what's going on from that Hebrew perspective. In other words, they were supposed to merge the worlds together. The Hebrews are the real Hebrews, so-called Israelites, are supposed to merge those worlds together. But what we didn't quit merging, and we're trying to make the Christ or the Father Comfort to us being Hellenized. We don't want them to be Hebrews. We want them to be Americans. Mr. Bell, how you doing? Okay, it's called Shemini Atzeret, I think. Atzeret. He said it's in Leviticus 23 and 36. Look it up. Leviticus 23 and 36. Mr. William Bell just put it on there. Look it up. See why you go to church on the 8th day, or on the first day of the week. See why the Most High used pagans. See why the Most High used pagans to his advantage. How he took advantage of the paganism in order to glorify him. That's what a God does. A God makes a bad situation into a good situation. He makes things his advantage. Y'all concentrating on Sunday, talking about it's the day of the sun. Oh man, it's the day of the sun, man. It's Sunday, man. That's pagan. That's pagan, man. Sunday, man. We can't do that Sunday stuff. I don't worship no moons. I don't worship no suns. Not knowing that this is what the Most High wanted you to do. He wanted you to understand that you gotta have to be in that everlasting Sabbath, that everlasting day of praising Him, which is going to be the so-called day that they named Sunday. The Most High don't care about no name being Sunday. He care about what you trying to do. He don't care about no day, no Sunday. You think you gonna go to? You think when you close your eyes and you in front of Him, He gonna be looking at you and say, "I saw what you did on that Sunday. I counted it. You worshiped me on the Sunday for 1,000,000 years." He's gonna overlook the part that you was going to worship Him, and He's gonna concentrate on the day that you did it. That's the type of Father that we serve. And that's the type of Father that the Scriptures preach about. It's not, and I'm about to quote it, but is not obedience better than sacrifices? And once again, as Mr. Bell brought out, it's not saying that as long as you're obedient, you didn't have to do the sacrifices. It's the point behind it. It's the point behind it. The Most High would rather you do what you're supposed to do spiritually, follow Him spiritually, than worry about what you're gonna do carnally. Y'all concentrating on a day, on a Sunday, more than y'all concentrating on what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And I feel that if we take our concentration back to where it's supposed to be, we'll be in a way better position than we are in right now. And today they got me 20 minutes late. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to jump off of this, and as y'all can see, kind of doing some work right now. So I'm gonna jump off of this and say thank y'all for listening. Hopefully y'all understood the whole breakdown of everything, and maybe we quit taking things out of context and condemning one nationality of people that ain't even the nationality of people that you're condemning. So now I just wonder where you run to now. Since Esau is no longer the white man, what do you run to now? Either you don't like the white man or you don't like Esau. You can't have both of them. Well, you can have both of them in order to make it look like, I guess, that you own. But I don't know who are going to get to heaven with hatred in their heart. I mean, even in the Lord's Prayer. In the Lord's Prayer, it was about forgiveness. Even in the Lord's Prayer, it was about forgiveness. So, I don't know how you can have hatred if everything was about forgiveness. I just don't understand. Indeed, Mr. Lee, indeed, indeed. And that's why I'm glad you're coming to worship with us. That's why I'm glad. So when you come in and finish, you can start dropping them bombs, because I can see that you got some in you. I see that you're waiting. You're waiting humbly, but I see you got some bombs in you that you can drop. So I say, man, I'm glad that you're a part of this. I'm glad that you see it like we see it. So we say, hey, continue that fight. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Pretty sure Mr. Bell is thankful for you subscribing to his channel and sharing and all the things you do and just listening and responding. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, let me get out of here. I love you all. I would say shalom, shalom, and I'll talk to y'all later.